All right, we're ready.
All right. Hi, guys. Okay, so I wanted to do this Zoom with these ladies because they're amazing and they are ambassadors, which, if you are new or don't know what that means, that is the highest rank in the company. That means listen to what they say, they know what they're doing. That's how I always take it. They got there. If you want to get there, you just have to listen to what they say. So, I know they do trainings, I do trainings, and so a lot of you guys have all of the actual tools to get to work, but I think in, hindsight, it's kind of like, why? Like, what's going to excite me? What's going to get me going? What makes me believe I can actually do this? So we are going to start with our stories, because for me, I know that when I went to my first conference and when I heard people talk, that was honestly the biggest thing. It was the stories where I was like, I can do this. I'm literally just like that person. So we're going to go ahead and start with stories and then talk about a few tips. And just make sure you keep yourself muted. And if you guys have any questions for them or me, you can just put it in the chat and we'll kind of go through it at the end if we have time. Cool? All right. So, Jami, I want to start with you because you had some awesome stuff that sounded, I wanted to hear your story. I was like, wait, what? I actually didn't even know that Mackenzie was on your team. So, I can't unmute you. But,
I got it.
Cool. Okay. All right.
Okay, so hi guys. I am Jami Rosekrans. I am from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and I have been with It Works for over 5 years now, and I just cannot believe it. My daughter was 1 when I started, and she is 6.5 now. It's crazy. So I'm going to try to make this as short and sweet as possible, but get all of the details to you. So when I joined It Works, I had already quit my full-time job. I was working in the mortgage department of a bank. I had already quit that full-time job to be home with Tenley more. I couldn't stand seeing her for an hour a day. That just wasn't motherhood to me. I hated it. My husband is a very successful realtor, and with his blessing, I quit my job. We agreed I would find something part-time, and I just quit. So I was still working at the bank part-time, and It Works just kind of fell into my lap, you guys. I saw a before and after photo on Facebook, and I just kind of like brushed it off and I laughed at it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this hoax now? And I kept seeing this picture, you guys, and finally about probably a week later is all, I broke down and I messaged my friend who posted it. And I just said, okay, what is this? Like, I have to know. I was a year post baby. I don't like to work out. I like food, and I was very self-conscious. I always have been. I was very self-conscious of my post baby belly, especially. And I was like, okay, well, maybe it does work, but we'll see. So I messaged her, and she told me how much the wraps were as a loyal customer. And I was like, okay, great, thanks. And I was ready to move on because I couldn't justify spending $59 as a loyal customer on wraps that probably didn't work. We could afford it, but I couldn't justify it. I couldn't do that knowing that in 2 months I was done with that job, and I didn't have anything else lined up because I was turning down interviews right and left that I was overqualified for. So she brought up the business, and I never would have asked her, you guys. She brought it up to me. She knew I had quit my job. And she just said, hey, what if I could help you earn your product for free? And I was like, oh, I like free. I like coupons. I like discounts. So I'm like, okay. And she was telling me it was $99. So it was only $40 more. I'm like, okay. So I talked to my husband, and he's like, well, you spend $99 in aisle 1 of Target, so why not? He's always been very supportive of me, and that is one thing that I'm so thankful for, that he has been my biggest supporter from day one, and I wouldn't be here without him. I can guarantee you that. So I joined. I had never seen a wrap, tried a wrap, didn't know if it worked, didn't know how it worked. I didn't know we had more than a wrap, you guys. I knew nothing. And I jumped in. I had my 4 loyal customers in less than a week by posting on social media. And then it took me about 7 weeks to really start asking people. I was posting, I knew that part of it, and I was getting the wrap on people. I loved getting the wrap on people and seeing the results. And I joined during the wrap shortage, and I don't think probably any of you guys were in during that point, but well, Kaye, you might have been. But the wrap shortage, you guys, like I was overnighting wraps for my upline just so I could get them on people. And about 7 weeks later, my husband's like, all right, Jami, clock's a ticking. You've got about like 4 weeks left at the bank. You know, you need to figure it out, or you need to find a job. And I was like, okay. So I saw this diamond bonus in front of me, and I just got to work, you guys. I didn't know what I was doing. I asked people. I got over that fear. So I started doing parties. I started getting in front of people. And again, this was before the party pad. This was before a lot of the tools that we have today to make our life so much easier. So, you know, it was crazy. It was time consuming. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no upline local to me. I had no one, you guys. And I just figured it out on my own. I just did it. And I was determined to do it. And I wanted that bonus, and I wanted to prove to my husband that I could do it, and to my dad. My dad laughed in my face, and I'm a big daddy's girl. And he laughed in my face when I told him that I was going to do this. So I kind of had those two on the back burner that I was like, okay, I got to prove them wrong. Like, I need to prove to them that I can do this. So I did it, you guys. I went ruby to diamond in a month. I got the wraps on people, and I got that bonus. By the time I left that job, I replaced that full-time income with a diamond paycheck, and I never got another job after that. So I've been full-time at work since August 3rd of 2012, which has been incredible for us. So once I hit diamond, I kind of got stuck. I got complacent. I was comfortable, and I was comfortable with that paycheck. And we kind of wrote it out until we went to conference in January. We had that hype, we had that fuel in our belly, and we came back, and our team didn't have that. They weren't there. They weren't plugged in. If you've been to events, you know the importance of plugging in and getting to events. They're so impactful, you guys. So we came back, we were excited, our team wasn't, and I kind of like went back down in that rut. Like, you have these highs and lows, and I was in a really low. I was hardly maintaining that diamond rank. I was ready to quit. So this was in March. I was ready to quit, and I was actually looking at full-time jobs again. And my husband happened to message a sideline and an upline of mine and said, guys, she's ready to quit. I need you to talk her off this ledge. She's good at it work. She loves it. I've never seen her this excited about work and this happy. And, you know, this is her. She needs this. And I had a phone call from them within an hour. And they talked me off that ledge, you guys. Had it not been for him, I would have quit, because he knew that I needed this business and how much it had changed my life. So I pulled my head up. Stop comparing myself to other people, and other people who were promoting faster than me, and, you know, other people whose team on fire. And, you know, all these things were wrapped up in my head, and I couldn't get rid of them. And I did. After that phone call, I got rid of it, you guys. So in 9 days, I kid you not, in 9 days, I went from hardly maintaining diamond, looking at full-time jobs, to double diamond. And then my entire business, my everything changed 2 days after I went double diamond, when I signed Mackenzie Schultz. I had never met her. I knew of her. Her mom was my nurse, and I had mentioned to her mom about selling wraps. When I wanted to quit, I had mentioned to her mom about selling wraps, just to make a profit to March of Dimes. I knew they were very involved with March of Dimes. And it just so happened that I ended up signing Mackenzie up 2 days after I went double. I went triple that month, and I went prez 3 months later. So you guys, I'm that proof that you have to ask everybody. I didn't want to ask Mackenzie, and it was behind a computer screen, and I was shaking in my boots. Like, oh my gosh, what is this girl going to think of me? What if she tells me no? Like, I don't like rejection. I'm shy. I'm nervous. I'm a homebody. If you know me, like, I'm not a blue. I am so far from a blue. It's not even funny. Like, I'm very quiet and reserved. And for me to ask her to join this business and have her tell me no, and then to ask her again and have her tell me yes, and then see how her saying yes changed my business and, thousands and hundreds of thousands of lives in the last 4 years. So it's been absolutely incredible. So from there, I was presidential for 2 years. And then, I had those highs and lows, you guys. You will have those highs and lows. And it's just, you have to push through it, because every time you're at that low, you have to know that breakthrough is coming. You really do. I promise you that breakthrough is coming. You have to keep asking one more person. You have to wrap one more person. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and just do it. Okay. Don't cave to the people who laugh at you or told you no, or told you this was a hoax and a joke. Like my dad, like I said earlier, he was my biggest hater and skeptic when I joined. And when I had that first 5-figure paycheck it was my first triple diamond check. So 11 months in this business, that was the first time that I'd heard, "I'm proud of you." It was incredible, you guys. That was like my ultimate victory right there, to have my dad that proud of me. Like, he still to this day, he just raves about me, and it works in this business. And he's my biggest supporter next to my husband now. So keep pushing through. You're going to have those highs and lows, you guys, but you have to just truck through. Find people who are your people, whether they're your sideline, your upline, your downline. You don't need 10 people, even 2 people, 1 or 2 people to just keep you in the game and, have that reality chat with you and, pull you back to earth when you're like off in space and like wanting to quit, or, you're whining and complaining and you're comparing your journey to others. Have that person that will pull you back and snap you out of it. Look, it's not worth comparing, because if you compare yourself, you're going to drag yourself down. And you're going to drag your team down with you. So you have to just stay positive and stay around those people who help keep you positive. So that's about it for my story.
Awesome. Okay, so I always like to really listen to someone's story when they are saying it, and not just hearing it and being like, wow, congratulations, ambassador, but actually listen to the things that they're saying on how they got there and why. And I just want to kind of reiterate a few things that she said. So bringing up the business to potential customers. That is how she is in the business. Mm-hmm. She was a potential customer. If they would have not asked her, she would not have exploded their business or her own business. She would have not started the business.
Here's something I want to add to that too, Christy. Here's a kicker, you guys. I hear a lot, and I forgot to mention this. I hear this a lot, that people say, well, my sponsor quit. I don't care if your sponsor quit. My sponsor quit 5 months in. Okay? She quit. And guess what? She didn't get paid on any of this. So it doesn't matter if your sponsor quits. You had that sideline and upline, and you have ways. It Works has given us the tools, so many more tools now than we had 5 years ago to be successful. So if your sponsor quits, don't make that a sign that you have to quit. Okay, I promise you, keep going.
I think actually a lot of presidentials and ambassadors have a sponsor that quit. Yes. Which just shows you guys that you might sign someone and they might not do anything, but there could be someone under them that is just watching and waiting, and they're going to explode, and you better be there to see it, because if you quit, you're not going to be there to see it, and you're going to be like, I think that girl was on my team. I've seen it plenty of times, and I'm like, bad choices. So, okay, so bringing up the business to potential customers and knowing them. So her enroller knew that she was looking for a job. So like just making that extra little effort to actually talk to them. And I know sometimes when we just need like 300 BV for a promotion, we're like, I'm just going to sign you as a customer. I'm not going to offer you the business. But you guys, it's so important. I always get their information about ready to put them in. And then I say like, okay, well, have you ever thought about this? And a lot of times they'll say like, yeah, I want to try the product first. Or, you know, sometimes they say like, yeah, that would actually be awesome because we have the free product. So you could have your next ambassador if you just offer them the business. So don't be afraid to do that. And she came through a before and after. I know sometimes we don't want to post before and afters because we're like scared of what it looks like on our social media, but people will be like before and after, oh, that's a before and after. And then they'll go back to it just like she did. I've had plenty of people do that. And I like what ifs. So like some people are like, don't live off what if. I'm like, I love what ifs. What ifs keep me in the business. What if I quit today and then, you know, tomorrow someone explodes in my business, just like with hers? You know, like what if I ask this girl and she says no and I am scared and I take her off my list and then somebody else asks her, you know, in a week and she says yes? What if she was on my team? She could have been my next ambassador. So what ifs are a good thing. I don't like to say like scare yourself into what ifs, but something that gets me kind of working sometimes when I'm like, I really don't want to like be rejected today, you know, I'll be like, well, what if this girl is going to be my next runner? And if I don't ask her today, somebody else will, you know? So really kind of like take advantage of the what if. It's a good thing. It's a lot of possibilities. Okay. So, I will go ahead and go next since I'm yapping already. Okay. So, I'm Christy Christensen. I have been in the business for 4.5 years. I technically was here during the wrap shortage. If you guys don't know what that is, that literally means there was no wraps to be sent out. They were out, but I had just started. So also, you guys, I know plenty of people who promoted during, you know, holidays and things like that. I got started November 30th. And so, you know, you just never know when you're going to sign your next rock star. So I got started November 30th and I did not know what the heck I was doing. My enroller was brand new, so she didn't know what she was doing either. I also I actually didn't even sign my first 4 customers for about 3 months. Okay. My first distributor at like 3.5 months. So if you guys want to compare yourself to anybody, go ahead and compare yourself to me because I was just like this turtle and I was watching. I was in a team page. I didn't say anything because I didn't know what the heck was going on, but I watched and I had an auto ship coming and I didn't know how to turn it off. So I got those wraps and I had to wrap people. I had to sell them because I was like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So I was just wrapping people. That's all I was doing. And I had just moved to a new state. So again, no excuses. But I was coming from Utah to Vegas to do eyelashes. And I would just be like, hey guys, I'm going to be there for 3 days. I have 5 wraps. Who wants them? And I would just set up appointments and come down and wrap people. So it was kind of like, you know, mixing business. So if you guys still work, don't ever be afraid of that. Because I know sometimes people get scared. They're like, well, I can't say I've had all this success yet. You know, I still work a job, whatever. I actually still do eyelash extensions because all of my clients become customers and distributors. So why would I not? You know, it opens up my market. So I still do it, like not a lot, you know, a couple times a week, but don't be afraid of that. Take advantage of it if you still work. Have a party with all your employees and stuff. So anyways, so I started signing customers and distributors finally. And I actually signed up this girl that she just got it. She understood probably more than me. And she went and signed up a bunch of distributors. And I knew how to sign up customers at that point. And after about 9 months in the business, I went diamond. And then 2 months later, everybody was talking about conference. Everyone was like, go to conference, go to conference. I'm like, I literally just had a baby. I was maintaining Diamond, but like, not like a lot. Like that was getting us, through things. It wasn't like we had extra yet. And so people were like, go to conference, go to conference, go to conference. And I'm like, no, I live in Vegas. So that's an expensive plane ticket. And I literally had a newborn baby. I'm like, I don't know where she's going to go. My husband's in school and working. And so people kept saying going. And I just, had this nudge, like this godly nudge. And it totally was, because I totally would have not gone otherwise. And people were just saying, you should go. You should go. It'll change your life. It'll change your life. I'm like, how is going to a place with a bunch of people going to change my life and make me want to work really hard? Like, what does that mean? So in December, I finally was like, all right, I got to freaking go. So I bought a flight that was like $550, which was way more than it would have been. Yeah, it was expensive. And I bought the ticket, which was double the price because it wasn't the early bird price. I drove myself and the baby down here with my mom, and I left her, she was like 4 months or 3.5 months. And I left her with my mom, and I went, and that literally changed my life. I had never worked, I think, the way I was supposed to until that event. And I really like to zone in on this, because you guys have events around you. You have events around you, and you have conference that will be coming up in February. But for me, what changed was that I realized it wasn't about me. I was working just to work and make money. And then I went to that event, and I got to know people and their stories and why they were there and how much it took them to get there and what they needed. And so many of them were talking about I want to pay for my mother's car. I want to do this for my family, or my kids this, or and my mind just exploded. And I was like, there are so many people I know on my Facebook that are exactly like these people, that I have this thing in my hand, and how selfish of me to not share it. Like, how freaking selfish of me to not give them, I don't want to say a way out, but a way to make things better for themselves. So I left that event, and I literally messaged every person on my Facebook, but I didn't say, hey, let's sign up. I got to know them. I started conversations. I figured out why they could use this business. And then I offered it to them. And then I followed up with them. And then I started signing friggin' over 20 distributors a month, because I had built up all these relationships with so many people. And now they trusted me, and they trusted that, this business could change their life. So I went double that year. And then I went triple the next year. And then last year I went presidential and ambassador. For me, some people are like, well, my business is like this. My business has always been like this. And I want you guys to know, that's what it is. It's a business. You are not always going to go up. You're not always going to go down. It's going to be like this. Because that's like saying, how popular is Target? Who likes to go to Target all the time, right? It's a popular place, whatever. Do you think that they make more every single month than they did last month? No. They probably make more in the Christmas season. That's just how businesses are. You just go like this. That's what you have to do. But you have to be doing the work in the times that your check is not necessarily growing, right? So right now, I've signed, 13 customers and 4 distributors this month. But normally my distributors is over 10. But guess what? Am I freaking out? No, because I know that this month I'm talking to a lot of people, and they're all going to be ready next month or in October. So when September and October comes and somebody says, you've signed 15 distributors, how did you do it? It's not what I did in September, October. It's what I did in August. Okay. So I want you guys to realize that, because I know, especially when you're new, you're like, I'm doing everything you're saying. Why is nothing happening? And it's not that nothing's happening. It's that you have to give it some time for something to happen. Okay. So now that I friggin' talked all your ears off. Okay. Sorry. Kaye, I don't know where your face is. You just unmute yourself.
I'm here.
I don't know where your
Hi.
screen is.
Can you see
Jumps
me?
everyone. Oh, there you are. Okay. So we'll jump to Kaye before I take up the whole hour.
I'm like, mic drop. We can just all go home now. We're all home. But I love what you said. I love that you talked about conference and the importance of that. And I love that you talked about seed planning. And I know we'll probably cover that a little bit more tonight. But that is so important. And what I've learned over 8.5 years in this business is seed planning is such a big deal for our big growths. And I'll talk about that in a little bit, but I'll get to my story. My story's different. You know, my story's always going to be different than everybody's story. And I accept that and love that. But I was 12 years old when my journey started with this business. 12. Can you guys even imagine? Like, your moms, you have kids. I was 12 when my mom discovered the wrap and started It Works with Mark. And I grew up with this company as her cheerleader. And I was certainly her cheerleader. I was at her parties when she was doing parties in the field, building this company. I went to her events with her. I was her right-hand girl. My favorite thing was collecting the money at the wrap parties. I just loved it. It was like cash flow. And I would sign people up and sign people in. And I just really enjoyed that process. And so I was always her cheerleader, but I truly did not see this as something that I was going to do in my future. I was heavily invested in softball and dance in my early teenage years and late teenage years. And then in high school, I decided that I wanted to go in the fashion industry. And so I wanted to go to art school. And my mom always supported that. She always told me, you would be amazing at this business. You've got a fire for this. You've got the sales skills. Like, oh my gosh, I would love to have you in It Works one day. And I just kind of passed her off. Like, I don't know if I was just super intimidated because I watched my mom build this company and thought I could never be like her and never fill her shoes. We're very alike, but we're also very different. And so I felt, like we talked a little bit earlier about comparing. I felt like I was always comparing myself to my mom. And so I decided to go into the fashion industry. And what was so great about my career in that industry was I had the ability to study abroad. And so when I was in college, my junior year of college, I got to go to Florence, Italy. And I was prepping for my trip. And so this is when I really started to see myself as a potential distributor for this company. My very last job I ever had, I was working in this high-end retail boutique selling clothing that none of my friends could afford, much less myself with my discount. And I was working for this store, and I was set to be a manager for the store. And I thought I was going to come back from my study abroad and work at this European clothing store. And I was starting to make a lot of money, and I realized the economy was crashing, and I was doing well at the store. And she actually let me go a month and a half before I left for my trip. And it was because I was leaving that I was, she just took me off the schedule. And I look back now and I realize how much of a blessing that was. But I also realized I was probably making too much for her to be able to handle it at the economy crashing. And so I see it now from a business perspective. But at the time, I thought the walls were caving in. I remember calling my mom and freaking out. And, I thought, well, how am I going to afford my trip? I was saving up all this money. And she said, in some way, Kaye, I know it's hard to see it now, but this is a huge blessing for you. And so I went away for 4 months, and I lived in this country that I had never been to, didn't speak the language, and I had 9 roommates, and we had 1 apartment, and I had to learn things that I had never learned in my life. I was 20 and turning 21 years old at that time. And but you guys, what was so amazing is I realized my passion for It Works, because I had heard all these stories along the way. I had been to those boot camps and events, and I had heard the stories. I knew that people were successful, and all my roommates wanted my product. I brought stuff with me, and I remember a girlfriend of mine saying that she didn't like the way her chin looked. I wrapped her chin. We all had greens. Everyone got sick, and I didn't because I had the greens and the vitamins. And I'm like, been a customer, and I'm realizing I'm really passionate about these products. There's just something magical about them. If these 9 women that I live with want these products, who else is going to want these products? And so when my mom came over to visit me for Christmas, she brought my dad and my brother. And you guys, I posted about this a couple weeks ago. My parents just went on a 3-week trek, and they went all over the world and ended up in Bali and came back. And when I lived in Italy, that was my parents' first ever trip anywhere with a visa. They had never been to Europe. Like, this company has completely changed our family's life forever. They had never been abroad. This was before It Works was even open internationally. I remember them talking about opening up in Australia at this time, and they hadn't even opened up international. And when I studied abroad, I was the very first in my entire family to go overseas and have a passport. And they didn't even have a passport until I studied abroad. I might have said visa, but I meant passport. I was on a visa. But they came over to visit me, and we were on a train ride. We were going from Rome to Sorrento to spend 5 days for Christmas. And I, for the first time in my entire life, sat my mom down and said, can you show me what to do? I want to be a distributor for It Works. And her jaw literally like dropped to the floor. I mean, this has been years and years and years of building up to this point. She couldn't believe it. But you guys, the brilliant thing that she did was she kept it so simple for me. She literally pulled out a napkin on that train and wrote the steps to success out on that napkin and walked me through the steps. And I said, okay, what now? Like, okay, I'll join, now what? And she said, you've got to have a wrap party. And I'm like, oh, a wrap party on my own? I was going back to Richmond, Virginia, which was 3 hours away from where my parents lived at the time. We're from Roanoke, Virginia originally. And I went back to Richmond, and I had guys, I was not very social. I was like a shy, kind of introverted, not very outgoing person in college. I just kind of focused on my studies and did my thing and worked out. Like, I was so boring. But my friend Jennifer, she was in a sorority, and she had a ton of friends. She was the one that took me under her wing and showed me all around campus. She was my girlfriend in college. She was fabulous. Because she had so many friends, she had a wrap party for me in her apartment. I had only been back in Richmond for 3 weeks. And she had a wrap party for me, and her sorority friends came over. Their 6 girls came, and it was snowing outside. I remember being so nervous. I was red in the face. I was shaking, and I'm like, I've got to do this party on my own. I've only ever been to them with my mom. Do you really think I can do this? But 6 girls came, and you guys, you know what? They wrapped, and they all became my customers. They all became my customers, my loyal customers. I'm like freaking out because these girls never once, not one time, ever stepped foot in my store. They couldn't afford it. They didn't want to. They didn't care. It didn't matter to them. But they came to my party and they bought product. As a person in sales, I was like, I'm all in. If I can sell this product to college students, everybody's going to want this product. And I just had that. I just remember as a little girl, my mom sold IBM computers for a long time before she got into network marketing. And she had keyboards in the basement, and I would set up store in the basement, and I would sell books and things to my brother. I feel like I was determined to do this, and I just look back and go, I was made for this. I love this. Right. So I got so animated and so excited. And this is when Facebook was still university driven. And this was almost 9 years ago. Okay. We didn't have Instagram yet. Okay. So I was doing parties left and right. And I was setting up booths at Gold's Gym because it was free. And I was asking hair salons. I would go door to door. And I would ask hair salons if I could come in on their busy day and set up a table and network with their clients. And I did that. I went to boutiques, clothing boutiques, and set up and network with their clients. And I would tell them things like, I'm going to promote you on Facebook. And I didn't even know what I was doing. And they still let me come in. But I was consistent, like every Thursday night, because I didn't have class on Thursdays one semester, I was at Gold's Gym setting up a table, which led me to salon owners that let me come in and people that wrap there, and they became my customers. And I just like worked it. I like worked the system. I'm like, this is free and I can handle this, until I started making some money. And so my first whole year was all built on parties. That was party, 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 party. And I loved it. And I promoted double diamond in my first year. I graduated college. I was 22 years old. I was making just shy of 10 grand a month as a double diamond. Like I couldn't even like wrap my head around what just happened to me. I moved back to Roanoke. I was like, I'm going to start my life here. I'm going to be this rap girl. This is the most amazing thing. I know there's no job ever hiring that's going to pay me 10 grand a month to start. Like, this is insane. And then I think the next year it was triple and then presidential. So I did a rank. So the first year I did diamond double, and then triple presidential. And then 2012, I promoted ambassador. And guys, that was in November. That was like right after Thanksgiving. And I was telling the girls earlier, I just remember that July that I promoted ambassador, that I said, I'm going for this. I didn't put a date on it. I didn't say like, I've got to be ambassador by August, 31st or whatever. I said, I am ambassador diamond. And in July, I just got my team rallied. I asked my team and my leaders, I'm like, are you on board with me? Are you on board with me? Because I knew that it was going to be powerful for them. And we worked our tail off. I mean, we were like, we might as well have all just rented a house and lived in the same house, because we were always connecting and talking. And it was powerful doing team calls together. And of course, if we had Zoom, we would have been using this. We were just like working it. And Thanksgiving, I could see it. I'm like, it's here. It's here. So I came back. I came back from my trip to Florida, because my parents had moved here already. And after spending Thanksgiving, I said, all right, team, we're going for it. And we promoted ambassador in November. And it was like this big deal. And you guys, like, it felt so good to get that promotion done. And then it was 2 years later, I was in the Millionaires Club, and have, been ever since, obviously. So it has just been this whirlwind. It's crazy to think it's 2017 and how much magic has happened in this company over 8.5 years. But you guys, I think for me, it was just consistency. Like, I just have gone through a lot of life. I want you to know that I've gone through a marriage and a divorce and a baby and another marriage. Like, I have a husband now. We have a son together. I've gone through a lot of like this in 8.5 years. And that was hard, having to redefine my why for this company and my why for being here. Hey, honey, Scott, my computer's going to die. Hold on. Scott. Okay. I might have to get Christy to jump on so I can go grab my charger. But, you guys, I can tell you that from my experience and my passion for being in this company as long as I have, like, you can get through anything. Like, you can get through any life experience. You can get through anything. That right around the corner is just a breakthrough for you. And I've seen it. I've seen it every single time in my business. I've seen it every single time with my team, that you are seconds away from your entire business changing forever and ever and ever. I think we might have lost Christy. So Jami, can you pop back on so I can go grab my charger real quick?
I'm here. Sorry.
You guys hear me? I'll be right back. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I love her story so much. So a few things that I took from that is she fell in love with the products. Do you guys want your business to explode? Fall in love with the products. It doesn't mean you have to fall in love with every single one of them. I, at this point, have, but that was after years and years of, actually trying everything. But fall in love with the products, because like, it's just like if you have your favorite drink at Starbucks and someone is like, what do you suggest at Starbucks? Every single person will suggest their drink to the death. Like, theirs is the best. It's just the best. You need to get it. You need to try it. And then if they don't, you're kind of like, well, that sucks. But then you'll still suggest it again. And you'll suggest it again to the next person. You tell them, have you tried it yet? You should try it. I know you like the last one, but you'll like mine better. You know, like, so fall in love with the products. That's huge. And also, I see, for me personally, sometimes when I am, you know, following up with my team, it's like, I just, you know, I'm really crazy with this move, or I'm really crazy with my kid's birthday party, or I'm really crazy with this, or I'm really crazy with that. And I'm like, just because we don't say we're really crazy with this stuff doesn't mean that we're not busy. I mean, we are literally gone every single weekend in September. I have my kid's birthday party. We have all this stuff. But guess what? I get to do all of those things because of the business. You have to think of it as like, you get to. Just like how, you know, we had the women's conference. I get to be gone all of those weekends in September with my husband and my kids because of the business. And you're going to have stuff happen all the time. If you're not moving this month, you're probably going to be pregnant next month. And then you're going to have your best friend's wedding in November. You know, there's always like, duh, if not, you're just, you know, not doing anything with your life. And there's always going to be something. So you have to just realize that. I love to use like big department stores as examples because it really puts it into perspective. If you are, for example, if you were an owner of Target, if you're like, you know what, it's my daughter's wedding, we're just going to close down for the month of September and we'll see you guys back in October. Like, what do you think would happen to their business? It would crumble. All of their, you know, Target customers would end up in other places. Okay. You have to just work regardless of how you feel. It has to be a habit and not on feeling. I'm not like, I am a super trooper motivated, extra amazing person all the time. Like, I don't just wake up like, yeah, like I really try to, like by watching a video and stuff, but I don't wake up like that, you know? And also tomorrow I'm 27 weeks pregnant. Like, especially in the beginning of my pregnancy, I was like, I am not going anywhere. Don't talk to me. I'm not taking a selfie. Like, and you know, I was just not up for it, but I did it anyways. So if you guys didn't know, when you go ambassador, you can actually open up a second account. So it's called your 2.0. So I had started working basically at the end of December, beginning of January for my 2.0. And I worked. I hustled in January and February. And I was like, I'm going dine at the end of February. Well, like February, 24th or something, I think it was. It's February, right? Yeah, I think it was February. I had a miscarriage. And I was like, I never thought this could happen to me. And if I did, I'd be that strong-willed, amazing person. But I wasn't. I was a freaking hot mess. And I was barely 6 weeks pregnant. And I was a hot mess. But I was like, you know what? I worked the last 7 weeks for this. I'm not going to let it go because of life happening. Because I know that once I feel better about myself, I'm going to regret not just pushing for those last 5 days of the month and hitting my promotion and my bonus. So I pushed through it and I promoted. And then the next month, I promoted to double. And then 2 months later to triple. And through that, I was still going through all of that. And then I got pregnant like 3 weeks after. So it was like craziness. But I just did it anyways because we can't tell you guys to just push through it if we're not doing it. We're saying that because we've done it. We know. And you know, you guys might not see that, but we have to, even if you have one distributor under you, even if you don't have any distributors yet, you have to fill your cup up so that you can give to others. I mean, I was talking to Erin last night and I was like, you know what? My relationship with God has helped me so much in this business because I constantly have to fill my cup up to fill other people's up. You know, like people are having like, you know, some people it's their best month and some people it's not because every month can't be your best month. And so people will come to me, and guess what? Like, it's a little draining sometimes, but as long as I'm filling my cup up, I can help fill up other people's. So you just have to like decide that you're going to do it regardless of what happens. And, you know, this might sound bad, but you guys, when I hear excuses like my kid's birthday party or I'm moving or whatever, I think in my head, like, how long does it take for you to post on Facebook? How long does it take for you to message somebody? I know you're going to the bathroom at least a couple times a day. Spend 10 minutes in there instead of a minute and work. Like, there's just literally no excuse. And I know you're not planning your kid's birthday party for 3 weeks, 24/7 hours. Like, if I'm being really honest, you're just not. So you have to just decide. But so let's see here. I have a little script, but I am going to let Jami, she has an awesome tip for you guys for the steps to success, which goes perfectly along with what Kaye said. And I have to say too, Kaye, I love it because it just shows like your mom helped create the company, but you still had to start off just like the rest of us. You still had to have a wrap party. You still had to learn social media. Like, you still had to do everything else we do. And that's just, I love that because it really is like, it's anyone's win. Like, anyone can do it and nobody gets special treatment. That's literally what it is.
Yeah, there's no royal treatment here, you guys. It is like, I mean, just like any one of you, I hustled my mom's friends list. Like, I mean, like, I'm like, hey, you know, your friend Sheila, she had just moved to Richmond. She had just gotten a divorce. Like, I'm like, I'm going to contact her to see, you know, I was like hustling. I mean, you can do the same thing just because my mom owns a company. I hustled her list. Like, I hustled my friends list. Like, it's so, that's the name of the game here, you guys. But if anything, I feel like sometimes I had it harder because I had like this Queen Pam to like look up to and think like, oh my God, can I do this? And, you know, of course she's cheering me on, but I had to work through so many of my own insecurities in the beginning. And then I remember that light bulb that went off and I'm like, I'm my own person. Like, I am my own leader. And I worked through that and I became that. And all of you become your own version of yourself in this business and this magnificent leader, and it unfolds and it's perfect. And then you're in a Zoom like this and you get to work with other ambassadors and you realize like, it's just so powerful to have that collective energy. It's just so magical. And that's all of your futures, you know? So absolutely. And I love Jami's steps to success tip. Like, I'm a steps to success. I love it, love it, love it. So Jami, like, bring it on, girl.
All right, guys, I don't have one in front of me. I was putting my 2-year-old down to bed until we started this. So, and then I went and locked the door in my bedroom. So my husband has to deal with him. Okay, here's my tip. So first of the month, you should print out your steps to success. Hopefully you do. If you don't, you need to. And actually what I like to do is I like to print out 12 of them on January 1. So then I have them, and then I write the month and the year on the top right corner, just so I hold myself accountable, that I never have that excuse of, I don't have it printed, I'll print it tomorrow, and then next week. Because you will push, I'm like the master of procrastination with everything, like everything. It's my life, okay? So if I have to just do things in the moment, or I will forget and I will not do them. So print them off for the rest of the year. And then you're going to have them, you guys. So here's what I want you to do on them. I want you to put 4 sticky notes on it. So just take 4 yellow sticky notes, put them on there, and write just DT and LC on each one. And then write 1 through 7, 8 through 14, and so forth through the end of, through 28 essentially. So you're going to give yourself 28 days every month to do this. So each week, you guys, you're going to break that steps to success down. Each week, your goal is 1 loyal customer and 1 distributor. Okay. How easy is that? How simple is that when you break it down, you guys? And then, you know, when you're on the 5th of the month and you're looking at your sheet and you're saying, oh my gosh, I have my distributor, but I need a customer. Guess what? You go hustle your potential loyal customer list and you post on Facebook a little more and you do a wrap party, or go get the wrap on one person in Target. We like Target, okay? So we use our Target references a lot. Go get the wrap on someone at the park, at the mall, whatever. Get the wrap on one person and turn them into a loyal customer. And there's your one loyal customer for the week. But don't let yourself go to bed on the 7th until that's done, you guys. And then guess what? If you do that every single week, you will complete your steps to success every single month. And I can tell you that you do not have to be a mass enroller to get to ambassador. I was a steps to success girl, and I still am, all the way to ambassador. And I still am today, you guys. I have my months where, I'm not going to lie, I have months where I haven't signed anybody, you guys. And that is the honest to goodness truth. And guess what? I'm planting those seeds, just like Christy was talking. I've had a lot of life happen in the last 12 months, and I've been planting seeds, and they're starting to sprout finally. And I'm just looking, like, if your business isn't booming, you guys, look back to what you were doing 3 months prior. Okay, I can tell, when I had my back surgery, guess what? I was out for a couple weeks and I wasn't working my business like I should have. So guess what? Those next 3 months, I could tell. And then I could tell, when it got back up. So anyways, long story short, but you can be a steps to success distributor and work your way all the way to presidential ambassador, Black Diamond, you guys. You really can. You just have to keep going through the motions and keep working your business, and you will get there. But you have to hold yourself accountable. You have to print your steps to success. You have to teach that to your team. And I feel like this is just the most simplified way to just dumb it down for everybody, because then you're not getting to, today's the 28th, right? You're not getting to the 28th of the month and scurrying around looking at your steps saying, oh my gosh, I have signed 1 loyal customer and 2 distributors this month. How am I going to complete this? Oh, well, I'll move on to next month. No, you need to work every single day of the month like it's the 28th of the month and like it's the 30th of the month. If you do that and you're organized and have the steps printed, I promise you, you will fill it out. And then just flip it over and start your list even more once you fill it out. Okay. So that's my tip. If that makes sense, if you guys have questions on it, let me know. But I love that. I love simplifying things like that, especially for new distributors. Kaye, you were saying that your mom wrote it down on a napkin. Like, it's that simple. We can do that. You don't have to print it. I think you need to hold yourself accountable in that aspect. But when you're explaining it to someone, write it out on a napkin. It's not rocket science, you guys. Anybody can do this. I promise you. We have people from every background and lifestyle you can imagine that are successful with this business. So just stay organized and keep going, and you'll be there.
Awesome. Yeah, I think simplicity is honestly what helps me get to ambassador too, because I didn't know how to complicate things. I said, I signed a customer, I signed a distributor, here's what I did, here's what I said. That's literally, here's what I did, now you can go do it. A lot of people try to be like this, inspirational leader, whatever. The best thing you could do is just be the best you, and then go work your business and tell people how you did it. That's what will help you promote, seriously. Okay, so Kaye had an awesome tip for networking. I don't know if you went over that in your story or not, but I don't think so.
I talked about it a little bit. I talked about how I know you cut out a little bit there. I talked about how when I was building this business, especially in the beginning, I was building it all through the field. I mean, I was doing parties and building belly to belly, but I want you guys to know that no matter where you're at in this business, I mean, we're Ambassador Diamonds, we're still out in the field. I have a networking event tomorrow night. There's an amazing group here, and I'm going to network with business owners and to meet other business owners, because the last time I did this once a month at this local event. I met this amazing woman who's starting a fitness company here, and she wants to meet to carry the products. And so that can be huge volume for me. Just that one night that I took out of my night to go and network with people. And guess what? She used to live in Australia for 4 years. So she's got all these connections in Australia, and she was like, I want your product. And it was just this like magical moment after going through all night of meeting people and connecting, and some people being like, I'm not interested, and some people being very interested. But in addition to that, I did that networking event with Ingus. Ingus was here for 6 weeks working, and he signed a distributor that night. She signed the next day, but we met her for coffee, and she was there singing. She's a performing artist, and she was there singing. And so it's like, you never know who is going to be interested. And so, there's so many opportunities, and I find these on Facebook. Like, I'm always networking on Facebook. I'm on vendor groups. I'm finding out like what networking opportunities I can do out in the field. But I'm also one to awkwardly send a friend that I meet through a mommy group in Sarasota, because I'm new here. I don't know if you guys know this. I didn't put this in my story. Scott and I have only lived in Sarasota for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in just a couple weeks. And we moved here 7 months pregnant with Kennedy. And so it was like I was starting completely over in this town. And the only people I knew here were It Works people. It was like Sarah and Josh Rankin moved here the same week. And it was like Mike and Tiffany Patello. And it was like Carla Burns and Kyler Pentecost. Like, I love them, but I have no business networking with them, right? I mean, we come together for one team, one mission. So I had to go meet new people. I've joined so many mommy groups. I show up to the play dates. I go to the meetings. I go hang out, because I know then that has brought me so many customers and distributors. But like I said, I'm one to like awkwardly send a message and ask for a wrap party. Hey, I did this last week, and I just sent out a ton of messages. Hey, now that school's back in session, it'd be so much fun to get our girlfriends together and do a wrap party. Would you be willing to host one for me this month or next? Like, oh, let me look at my calendar and, work it out with my husband. And it's like, perfect. Some say no, some say yes, some say don't even respond. I don't care. And I just have learned that there's so much power in being belly to belly, as much as I'm also on social media and I work so much of my business on Instagram and Facebook. I am still one to like, I love a wrap party, and here's why. I can sign one HSN customer all day long. Like, I love a hair, skin, and nails customer, and I'm going to celebrate that. But I can walk into a party. There's 8 women in the room. I can sign 6 customers, probably upsell like crazy. They get packages and whatnot, add-ons, wrap cash, and probably sign 2 distributors out of that party. And that is one night, maybe 1 and 1.5 hours. And I have probably filled an entire box that night for promotion. I have added 2 more distributors to the team. Like, I love a wrap party, and I built my business on them. And so I'm still always looking for opportunities to go network. And I'm always like hustling the group pages on Facebook, because I learned like they're there for us. And, I've gotten really good. Someone told me a tip a long time ago. I've gotten really good at being people's friends. I'm genuine, but I'm their friend, and they want to be a friend back. And so therefore I'm having coffee with moms. I'm having lunch with moms. That ends up to be a customer. I just reaching out, having that quality time with them, maybe getting our babies together and whatnot. But I love networking, and we're in network marketing, and that is the name of the game here, you guys. And this is how my mom hustled and worked. It works. And I learned this watching her, and it's my objective to teach it to my team because it works. And now we have Facebook and social media to add to it. But I just wanted to share that, because I really hope that you guys take it to the field too. And don't just hide behind your phone and your computer all day. Show the whole world what you're doing, how you're working your business. Show them that you're in the field wrapping people. Show them that you're doing parties. Show them that you're at networking events. There are a lot of people that are watching you that would just love to get out of the house and have some fun. And you could be that light to bring that to them. So I just wanted to share that.
I think that's huge too, because I know personally, if I'm ever with one of my distributors or anything like that, like those are the days that I sign distributors from social media, because they're like, oh, like you actually know them, like you actually are friends with them. Like, those are the types of things that people, especially women, they draw to. They're like, oh, like you guys aren't just sitting on your phones all day. And I have built my business so much on social media, you guys, that I think sometimes at least for my team, they see, okay, then that's what I'll do. You guys, you have to do both, and you have to see what your niche is, and you still have to do both. Because the thing is I will talk to somebody on social media, and then I will meet with them in person and things like that. And, you know, you could work all month for 4 customers, or you could have a party and get 4 customers in one night. And I always use one of my distributors as an example, because she was in the business for 2.5 months and she had signed 1 customer. And she's like, I'm doing everything you're saying. I don't know what's wrong, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, your social media looks good. I was like, but have you had a party? She's like, no, I don't want one. I'm doing social media like you do. And I was like, have a party. And she fought me on it for weeks. She finally had a party and she signed 4 customers that night. So I'm like, there you go. Just proved you. So you guys, like, make sure that you are doing all aspects, because parties could be your thing. Parties could get you to ambassador, you know? So, okay.
Can I add on to that really quick, Christy?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to say this really quick, you guys. They're not lying when they say there's power in getting the wrap in front of people, getting the wrap on people, getting the products in front of people. When I signed McKinsey, okay, you guys, I had done wrap parties when I went for that diamond promotion. And outside of that, I really didn't push them too much again until I went double. Coincidence? Probably not. So I signed her, and she just like started talking to people immediately, you guys. And like, she had a dinner meeting with some girlfriends, and she's like, hey, can you come do that? Can you come talk to them? And I whipped out the party pad, because this was right when the party pad had come out, I think. And I whipped out the party pad, and she's like, oh my Lord, like, they just wanted to hear about the product a little bit. And you guys, we signed up 3 customers and a distributor out of the 4. All of them signed on the spot. And we started doing weekly wrap parties. We started doing wrapping Wednesdays. And we did that for 4 months or 3 months every single week. And you guys, she went double in a month. Double diamond in a month, triple into Pres in 4. And I went from double to Pres in those 4 months. And we did it by going and doing wrap parties and meeting people and getting in front of people. And yes, we invested a lot more time in our business. And I say invested in our business, not sacrificed our home life. Because having that investment in our business and going presidential 4 months later and having this amazing solid foundation of a team meant that I could enjoy a date night with my husband and turn my phone off and not have to worry about it and not feel guilty. And, you know, you can do these things and not feel so guilty. So if you, like, I always tell people, especially if you're going for a promotion, if you want it bad enough, you need to invest more time in your business. You need to buckle down and say, okay, to your spouse, if you have one, to your kids, if you have them, whatever, you need to lay out a couple ground rules and just say, okay, mommy's going for this promotion this month, or I'm really trying to go for this promotion. You know, I want your support. I need your support this month more than ever. I might be gone a little more than normal, but I promise we'll celebrate next month once I reach this goal. You know, let them know ahead of time and have them in your corner. And you know, my husband, thankfully, and Mackenzie's husband were like 100% on board with that. Like, her and I, we joke, we were like married to each other for 4 months because we saw each other more than we saw our own families. And it was so worth it, you guys. I can't tell you how important that was. But even if you're not going that fast, getting in front of people is so important, you guys. It's so, yeah, you're going to sign so many more people. And we would just open it up to more people the next week. Guess what? You sign up, you're launching next week, and so forth. So it was just kind of a domino effect that you will see your business just boom if you have that consistency with getting the wrap in front of people.
Yeah, we have to remember, you guys, like, it's residual income. So you're going to have to invest the time, and, you know, maybe some of those things have to be taken away from Netflix or whatever. But if you can work really, really hard for a few years, you will have freedom for forever. And I say that very, like, heavily because, I mean, for us, the goals I have now, we don't need the money. Like, now I'm helping other people promote, and our dreams are just going to like a whole nother level. and you're like, all right, like this is becoming legendary money, you know, like even presidential average is legendary. Like it's just crazy, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, you know. But in all reality, just 2 to 3 years of working hard, I had my freedom within a year. You know, I wasn't working or doing anything else. Within 2 years, I had my husband's freedom. And by 3 years, I'm like, what do we do with this money? Like, we need to invest it, you know? So it really is just a few years. And so you have to have those short-term, you know, weekly, monthly, yearly goals, but then you have to see yourself, like, where am I going to be in 5 years? Am I going to be at my same job, or am I going to be traveling and doing whatever the heck I want with whoever I want, you know? So you have to like see the big picture, because it really is about that. And I know Mackenzie too, the girl that she signed right after she was wanting to quit, I think she said in the ambassador page that she was in the top 100 income earners within like 5 months or something, and she's never been out of it since then. Like, it took her like 6 months to get there, and she
that first year she was. So she signed April 2nd, and that first year she was a top 100. Yeah.
It's like, that's like so freaking awesome. And it was all wrap parties.
Yeah.
And if you guys know, like Ashley Olive, she was all wrap parties as well. Literally, I think she did it almost nightly, sometimes a couple of nights. And she went ambassador in like 14 months or something like that. I'm really bad with these times, but yeah. So, okay. So I will talk about my little customer script really quick, because I know it's getting a little late. But before I do that, I want to touch on something too that I know kind of a lot of people don't talk about, but everybody ends up asking their upline about it or not and getting just frustrated. So, you guys, people quit and it's not your fault. Sometimes you just have to let them go. I know, like Pam always says, like, it's like a relationship, and sometimes you have to break up with them in order to find your husband. That's really what it is. You might sign 5 distributors and they're so freaking excited. They're ready to change their lives, and not one of them does anything. It happens sometimes. Or you could sign 5 and all 5 of them explode and you get to ambassador. You just never know, but you can't put it on yourself, because just like so many of us, we didn't have an upline. Mine quit within 4 months of me doing the business. And so someone's going to do it with or without you. With you, it's so much more fun. It's, you know, so much more support, but they're going to do it with or without you, you know? I had a girl, I talk about her a lot too. She signed up with the $10 kit. She would not even respond to me for the first month. And then she's like, hey, I'm ready. And now she's super consistent on Facebook. She already signed a distributor and a few customers within a few weeks of actually working the business. Like, they're going to do it. All you can do is have a friendship with them. And sometimes you just have to just let it go. And then the next person you sign could be your runner. That's really what it is. But you can't make people want this business. You can't make them want to work. Even if you know that they need it 10 times more than you, they could literally be living on the streets and not at rock bottom enough for them to want to work the business. That's just what it is. So you have to just let go sometimes and move on. And that's when you'll find some awesome people. And I like my girl, Eliana, see you. And then Stacy, they never really quit, but they kind of stepped back from the business in a way for a little while. And then when they were ready, they came back. And so you just never know when it's going to be people's times, and you just have to let it be their time, because that's when they're going to actually work the business. Okay, so my customer script, this works really well. Every time I use it, people sign up. So it's very simple. I'm sure you guys know it or do something similar. But there's a few like key factors to it. So when somebody offers, or when somebody messages me
Did we lose Christy? Christy?
Uh-oh. She warned us her Wi-Fi.
Warned us her Wi-Fi was a little wacky.
She did so good. Oh,
there you are.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be really fast. Okay, so if somebody says, yes, I want to lose weight from a post or whatever, I will say, okay, what's your goals? So they will tell me, I want to lose 20 pounds, whatever. I say, okay, well, what is your physical activity and how is your eating? Because just by showing them a little bit that I care, they're going to trust me a little bit more, and then I can give them the right products for them. If you just say, oh, you should buy this package, 4 pounds, they don't need the entire package. So I ask them that, and then I offer them, a few products. So you guys do not be afraid to offer a package or whatever it is that they actually need. If they want to lose 20 pounds, don't offer them the greens because you're scared they can't afford more than that, because you're not going to lose 20 pounds with just the greens. So don't be afraid to offer what they actually need. Okay. So I will say, okay, this is what I suggest for you, and give them just a little brief description of each product that, is from the website, not the whole entire thing. And then I will send them that, and they say, okay, awesome. How much is it? So this is the point where the loyal customer, wording comes in. You always have to give the retail price first and then the loyal customer price. Okay. And the reason for this, going to want it. If you say hair, skin, nails is $33, they're going to say, okay, awesome. And you're going to say, oh, as a loyal customer, which is ordering it for 3 months. And they're going to be like, well, that's not a very good deal. But when you tell them retail, it's $55, but as a loyal customer, it's only $33. And they will ask, what's a loyal customer? And I just simply explain loyal customer. You get wholesale price on all products for life, free product credit. You order 1 product a month, so on and so forth. Just make it, a quick little 2 to 3 liner explaining that, short and sweet. And then, depending on what they say, I will say, okay, I'm actually putting some orders in right now. Would you like me to get yours in? Okay. I always offer that because in the beginning of my business, when I would say, yeah, did you go to the website yet? Did you go to the website yet? Like never. They never. It took them like 4 weeks of following up just for them to go to the website, even when they wanted the product. So you always, always, always have to do that. And it always goes the same. So sometimes people will send me messages and they're like, well, they didn't ask what a loyal customer is. It's okay. It's still the time to tell them what a loyal customer is. If they don't tell you how much weight they're trying to lose and they just say they want to lose weight, it's okay. Ask them how much weight. It's always going to be broken down the same. And I think this has been huge too for duplication for my team, because it's always the same conversation. If they don't ask something, I still tell them the next thing. It always works out that way. So if you guys have your own team pages, or even just for your newbies, if you make up just like a little thing to screenshot them and just say, this is all you have to do, and all the product retail price and loyal customer prices are on your website, boom. That literally helps, take care of it. And I will walk my new distributors through their first few conversations, and then they might say, okay, well, how much is this at retail? I said, it's all on your website. Because if you can, the point of this business is building leaders, is building people that can do it themselves, because then they can teach other people to do it themselves. So if you can teach somebody to follow the customer script, and then they can teach somebody else to, and that's how you build a massive explosive business, because everybody actually knows what they're doing and it's being duplicated. But yeah, so that is the script. And I think that's pretty much it. Kaye or Jami, do you guys have anything that you wanted to end with?
Hey, oh my gosh, no, guys, I feel great. I feel like the aha moments are coming in. I'm watching the team pages. I'm watching the excitement. I feel like, Christy, they love your wording. I'm going to need that.
I'll copy and paste it into our group message.
Yeah. I think I would say, guys, we're at the end of the month here. And, you know, it's what Jami said, you got to work every day like it's the end of the month, but it is the end of the month. And, you know, I know I've told her, I was voice messaging one of my teams earlier, and I said, look, I've seen crazier things happen. You know, it's like, get your promotion done. You know, pay attention to what your team's got going on. You know, if you've got somebody super close to executive, let's knock it out. Super close to Ruby, let's knock it out. Like that can sometimes be can create a massive shift in someone's life when they have that promotion happen. Your whole team sees it. It's exciting. It's an adventure. And then they get the paycheck and they see that difference in commission from last month to this month. It can be a big deal. So pay attention to what's going on with your team and see who's super close to promotion. And let's knock it out over these next couple of days. And let's have some fun with it, because I know that's where our team's focused. And I really I want to say, like, you guys deserve it. And set yourself up for an incredible fall. I mean, we are in seed planting season, but my goodness, there's nothing like a promotion. And rock it out this month and just really close it out strong and know that you deserve it.
Awesome. You're so right. I've seen crazy stuff happen in 3 days, like the craziest.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's true too. Even when potentials see people promote, even if it's executive, even if it's your 4 customers, like whatever, it's so exciting because they see, oh, Kaye is not the only one doing good. She's got 20 executives that just promoted, you know, like people get excited. Let's see. Jami, are you still on here?
I am, but I'm good. You guys hit the nail on the head.
Your face is missing. Okay, awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much for jumping on and staying with us for a whole hour and 15 minutes. I know for some of you guys it's like really late, but we appreciate you guys jumping on, and this will be recorded, but we always know being on live is 10 times better. So I hope you guys have a good Monday night, and let's finish out strong.
Thank y'all. Thanks for having us.
Bye.